This government, this government, this government, this government.
He's a liar, liar. He's a liar, liar. You can trust him. No, 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 no. He's a liar, liar. He's a liar, liar. You can trust him. No, 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 no. He's a liar, liar. He's a liar, liar. You can trust him. No, 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 no. He's a liar, liar. He's a liar, liar. You can trust him. No, 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 no.
That we say no cuts. We don't say with Ed Miliband, let's have slightly slower cuts. We don't say with the TUC General Council, maybe we need to do something about the deficit. We say quite simply, we reject their economics. We reject the economics of the system. We reject the economics of the banks. We say no cuts. We say let's put people to work, creating wealth and creating growth. And the second thing is,
what the next steps, what is possible for the next steps, will depend on the scale of the demonstration. Because a really big demonstration just opens up completely new vistas and gives people a huge amount of confidence that they don't otherwise have. You know, and if the demonstration is sort of okay, but not
coming down to such and because this will massively, you know, even if those numbers go up by 300 or 400 compared to what we had normally, that will massively increase the number of people.
We will march in our tens and hundreds of thousands. We will come together in a way we have not seen since the invasion of Iraq. But Saturday's demonstration has to be the beginning, not the end.
When the Tories first came in, there was a lot of debate about whether it was even right to have a demonstration. There were some people who said, oh, the British don't do that sort of thing. That's for the hot-blooded French and the Spanish and the Italians, but we don't do that sort of thing. Or that it would be too early, or maybe we should wait until after the council elections in May.
At a time when we've got rising unemployment, we've got the highest youth unemployment ever, they're spending billions of pounds on nuclear weapons and increasing amounts on war.
Obviously, about Libya, I'm absolutely furious. It's absolutely ridiculous, as if this country needs another war when it hasn't got any money even for jobs and health and schooling. Madness. And why pick on Libya? Highest living standard in Africa. Hear what Castro has to say about it.
There was thousands of activists who were important in winning the demonstration, and then they had to build the demonstration, to fill the coaches, to get the delegations, to persuade their workmates to come themselves, to organise on the day. Those people, I think, were particularly inspired by the Egyptian and Tunisian events because they could feel, I'm part of something bigger than myself. It's very, very important that people don't think they're just beavering away in their own particular workplace or community.
When they say come back,
We say fight back.
when they say come back,
We say fight back.
come back,
Fight back.
come back,
Fight back.
come back.
Fight back.
If it's as big as is being increasingly predicted, then it should increase people's confidence, because one of the difficulties with resisting is if you feel on your own, if you feel isolated, if you're part of a demonstration involving hundreds of thousands of other people, that will affect your confidence. But then it's really important that we get out of the demonstration. The demonstration is the launching pad for further action, and in particular, when I say action, I mean in particular strike action right across the public sector against the austerity measures. So I'm on strike today, as everyone, as all university lecturers across the country. What we need is more action like that, not just in a particular sector, but involving, well, in the first instance, all public sector workers. It's that kind of action which will force the coalition to change its policies.
It was really a huge march. But more than that, I think the composition of it was very interesting, because it's the first time for a very long time that we've really seen organised working class people out on the streets in those sorts of numbers. There were big blocks of trade unionists, some of them in uniform, some of them not in uniform, but huge blocks of people showing the potential power of organised labour. And what I think it did was it pointed to the future. It showed that there is a possibility of people marching together and then taking action together afterwards, of striking together, both in terms of local mobilisations, but also of coordinated strike action and moves towards a general strike and so
on. This slogan's been around since I was a youngster. And I'm no longer a youngster, but it doesn't seem to change. And I just think we could all wake up, you know, life can be a lot more than this. Yes.
Visit Lockheed Martin executive headquarters in London and remind them that nuclear weapons are an extremely bad idea. They could be using their good services for many other constructive things.
Well, decommissioning nuclear weapons would be
and
a very
waste
big
disposal.
job.
Waste disposal is a major problem, and nobody's solved it yet.
And would employ millions of people as well. So
good scientific brains could be attached to something positive.
I've spoken to quite a lot of people after the demonstration, and all of them talk about how there was a celebratory atmosphere when they went back to work, having been on the demonstration. There was a sense it was one up for our side. It showed that we can do things, that we're not weak, that we don't have to simply be the objects of history, but can be the subjects of history. We can change things ourselves. And certainly where there were groups of people from a workplace that went there was a real sense of coming back to work, of being proud of what people had done. And that undermines quite a lot of what the media attempts to do and what the Tories attempt to do in terms of defining an agenda about it. And that's really important, I think, in terms of when we think about how the media, traditional political parties can set an agenda. They can, of course. They are very powerful instruments. No one would gainsay that. At the same time, if you have 500,000 or more people in a society like Britain, that's also a hugely powerful instrument, and one that people trust much more. They trust much more someone they sit next to or they live next to than simply picking up a newspaper.
You know, some people have said you can march all day long as you want, you won't change a single thing. Well, actually, people will come away from this march today motivated, they'll be inspired, they'll go back to where they come from, and they will join demonstrations like this in every town, every city in the country, and we will change what's happening. And that's what we need to do. You know, we're going to do it. We're not going to be violent, we're not going to be aggressive, we're not going to break the law. What we're going to do is make the law.